Let's do this. Welcome back, America.
Oh, 45th episode, 45th president, 47th.
That's right.
So I guess we'll give this one to our new commander-in-chief.
That's right.
Michael Jordan.
23 and 45.
Yeah.
That's right.
Man, what a crazy weekend.
I know. I'm so tired.
Football.
We did go to Buffalo Wild Wings last night, the wife and I.
Did you?
Yeah, she only made it through 3 quarters. She's like, do you really want to sit here for 4 hours and watch the whole game? I was like,
yeah.
Was that not the...
Yeah, it's the Buffalo.
Yeah, that was
the Buffalo Bills, Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, it kind of felt weird to be cheering for the Ravens at Buffalo Wild Wings. But
gosh, man. You want to start with that one?
Yeah, we can start with that one.
The most fresh.
Man, what a game. It really was the game of the weekend.
Yeah, it was. That was the best. And it came down to that wire, man. Like, I guess the difference maker was really, I'd say the turnovers, obviously.
For sure.
Ravens had 2. What was it? 3? I know he had a pick and a fumble.
Pick, fumble, and Andrews had the fumble.
Yeah, I forgot Andrews had that fumble as well. That was big time. And then, man, the whole game, though, it just looked like the Bills were the better team. Like, their defense was the Ravens had to fight for every yard, other than the third quarter, where they were rushing the ball very well. And then with the Bills on offense, it's just like 4 or 5 yards per play, every single play. Just
they were chopping
it down. And then once you get within 20 yards, once they get to the red zone, it's like, man, just call Josh Allen's number a couple times. And he just barrel roll.
I noticed they would wait for the design quarterback draw until they got inside the 30.
Yeah.
Trying to limit the hits on him, I think, through the year was smart. What did you think about the Ravens going for 2 in the third quarter to try to tie it at 21?
I mean, at the time, I thought I would have done the same thing. You know, you don't want to be down by 1. You also, just with the snow going on, you don't know if anyone else is going to score again. So I think you kind of have to. You force yourself into it.
Right.
I liked it. I don't know if I liked the play. I don't know if I liked either 2-point conversion play. Like the second one should have worked. Andrew just dropped the ball, but there was a little bit of like a hesitation pump fake, which I think kind of threw him off a little bit. But yeah, I don't mind going for 2 on the first one. Did you think otherwise?
I understood it. In hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
Now you see like, oh, that was a terrible play. I understood it. I was kind of 50-50 on it. It felt a little bit early just because it's kind of like going for the early onside kick when the odds are against you. You don't want to force the game yet.
Right.
So you were cruising, you were dominating. That felt like a big killer to the momentum. My main complaint on the 2-point conversions is that Derrick Henry didn't touch the ball on either of them.
Right.
On one of them, it should have been a read option of some sort, give a chance for the big man who was dominating that third quarter to try to get the ball and try to get the 2-point conversion. The second play call, like you said, was a good one. He just dropped it. I think I have it here.
Yeah, show that clip. That was, oh my gosh, that was the dagger to the heart for me, for the Heartbreak Bowl. That was it.
Let me see. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, to your point on the first one, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, Derrick Henry's been killing it. Like, line up in I formation and just let him.
Right.
It'd been like 5 straight plays where they couldn't stop the run.
So here's a play. It's a little run pass option.
Roll,
flat.
flip
open.
it, got it. Oh, the ball was dropped.
Good enough to catch. He just drops. He maybe could have led him a little bit better, but I mean, it hits him right there.
Got it. Oh,
drops it, and it falls short. If you look right here, you know, he's sprinting out to the right. They got the roll. And you had 2 receivers right there, a third one running across the middle. You have 3 options, basically. So the play call for me was fine. It was executed well. It was just dropped.
Flip it. Got it.
He catches it. He falls in the end zone. And that's that. But unfortunately, it was a bad game for the old Ravens.
You know
the senior citizen Ravens, if you will, because between that one and then I have a clip of the fumble if you want to see that too. Mark Andrews had the worst game of his career.
You want to know what that last 2-point conversion showed me too?
What's that?
If you watched it in slow-mo, he hesitates. He does like one pump. And then when you're like playing catch with somebody and they like do that and it kind of makes you like get into that. Yeah, that is what happened. And Patrick Mahomes wouldn't have pump faked. He'd have thrown
Patrick Mahomes wouldn't have needed a 2-point conversion. He probably would have had
he would have got the refs would have called pass interference on it. But
here's the other big play. Ravens driving. I mean, it's 2nd and 11, but they had moved the ball out to the 40. 8 minutes left. Big play in the game.
Fake to Henry.
Andrews over the middle.
Jackson
Played, I thought,
throws.
fine.
Got a man wide open. It's Andrews.
Play.
get down.
No, don't just get down. Freeze it right there. There we go. Look how much yardage he has if he turns upfield.
Yeah.
He has 5 more yards to go, and instead he cuts
got
it
a man
back.
wide open. It's Andrews. He dropped the ball.
He's just trying to do too much. Like you said, should have either gotten down or should have turned it upfield, especially in the snow. I know you're trying to win. I know. It's just, man, I feel so bad for Lamar. In his 8 playoff games, 13 touchdowns, 11 turnovers, 3-5 record.
Man.
And the pick was awful. The pick he threw was just a bad throw. And he knew it too.
Yeah. And then, yeah, Andrews had a tough game, man. But they're just, you got to execute. It is the playoff. There's no room for error.
Yeah. Josh Allen, only 127 yards passing, but like you said, they
just enough.
They did more than they needed to.
Yeah. They
Josh
were
Allen had
just enough to move the ball. That especially, I felt like in the third quarter they got way too conservative. They almost
tried to hold the lead.
Yeah, just kind of lost it that way. You know, you're up 21-10. Might as well put your foot on the neck, take a deep ball, something like that. Yep. But yeah, came down to the wire, and it is what it is. Bills move on. Bills Mafia, baby.
Let's go. Derrick Henry, only 16 carries. I would have liked to see it in that weather, 2025. That's the reason you got him. So Bills move on. We'll face the Chiefs next week. You want to do that game next?
Yeah, let's roll with that.
Chiefs versus Texans. This game had the feeling of inevitability the whole time.
100%. It felt like a typical Chiefs game from this year, from the playoffs. And you know what, man? People, they kind of harp on the ref stuff. I think because people are looking for it more against the Chiefs. I don't think it's entirely different from many other teams, personally.
Yeah, so there were 2 big play calls. So my pastor's a big Texans fan.
Yeah.
2 big play calls that led to 10 points. So here's the first one, the roughing the passer. Now, I will tell you, this is in slow motion. So it's it's a little bit biased because in slow mo, it's hard to tell. So he throws it, the ref back there.
I mean, this is a
boom,
huge
you see the
penalty.
head go back.
Yep.
They call that roughing the passer. Here it is again. Once again, slow motion. Boom. He does look like he hits him high.
Good point, Joe.
Kind of head bobbles a little bit. It's a big third down there. 15-yard penalty. Once again, super slow motion. Hard to tell if he hit the helmet or kind of chest area. That call, I was fine with. That's a bang-bang play.
Yeah.
He hits him kind of high. The helmet's high. Looks like it. I thought it was in real time. Slow motion tells you otherwise, but it's a bang-bang play. The one that got me and the one that got a lot of people was the slide.
The slide. So,
yeah, let's fire this one up. And then Troy Aikman and all of them were kind of saying it too. But so he's running around. It's 1st and 10. Kind of, little shimmy. And then goes down, and then they do. What's interesting, they hit each other in the head.
Yeah.
They didn't even hit Mahomes in the head. That's the killer part to me, especially because let's see if I can pause it at the right time. Look how close they are when he dives. They're already like gunning for him. They're already going for the tackle. He gave him half a yard, and then they flagged that. That for me was ridiculous. That was on 1st and 10. So who knows if they would have scored or whatnot.
Right.
But that for me, that's a rule that's got to change. He's a runner. You can't go down when they're already diving at you and get the penalty. If he takes a step or two, that's different.
That was also that one was more player centric because if Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen does that exact same play, they don't get the penalty. Is it because they rush more often? I mean, Jalen Hurts, he's not getting that either.
No.
So Yeah, my deal is like, if the court, he gave himself up, but he had too much of an advantage because he's running to the sideline and he runs back into the field of play.
Yeah.
So he should be free game at that point. You had the chance to give yourself up. You didn't. We should be able to knock your head off.
Yeah, I agree. If you don't want to get hit, step out there.
Yeah. Go down earlier.
Yeah. So that was the only real big call. Those were the two controversial calls that led to points.
Right.
The second one, not necessarily. The first one, absolutely. And like I said, the first one in live time, it's a judgment call. Hard to disagree. Hard for me to be like, that's ridiculous. The second one, that was pretty ridiculous.
Pretty crazy.
Pretty crazy.
I will say this, though. Great numbers from Kelsey.
Yes.
Kelsey balled out. He had a game. And
7 for 117.
So hilarious. I was trying to think of a way to word this. Like in 2017, 2018, if you would have told me Kareem Hunt is scoring multiple touchdowns in the divisional round in 2025, I probably would have laughed at you. The fact that he's still going is great. So I love it.
You mean his son? No.
Yeah. Is that Kareem Hunt Jr.?
Oh, man, time goes fast these days. CJ Stroud played a pretty okay game, trailing most of the time. 19 of 28, 245. No touchdowns. Just didn't do enough.
Yeah.
He ran the ball 6 for 42, which hasn't been his game so much in the pros.
Right.
And he tried, just like I said, there was an air for me, of just inevitability with this game as it marched further on, and the Chiefs stayed ahead or stayed close. You just kind of knew what was going on.
Yeah, you're swimming upstream the whole game. But yeah, I was proud of CJ and the Texans. They looked good and they fought hard, did the best they could.
Dang. And for the 7th straight year,
that's crazy.
Chiefs are in the AFC Championship game. And I think they've hosted 6 of them.
That's crazy.
That's
what was
insanity.
it like? The last 12 has been either Brady or Mahomes. Some kind of crazy stat like that. It's like,
that's been in the AFC Championship game?
Yeah. Just completely dominating the AFC.
It's amazing what having the guy will do for you.
Right.
Just incredible. But Chiefs back again. And yeah, they've hosted 5. They did not host New England that first time. So there you go.
Nice.
But man, just crazy. The heartbreaker for me, Lions versus Commanders.
Gosh.
And Jared Goff played horrible. The quarterback was the difference in the game.
Yeah.
Both offenses really did roll.
Yeah.
The defenses couldn't stop really much of anything. Some criticism on the play call where you double reverse it and let the receiver throw the pass for the pick. He's got to throw that away.
Yeah.
But you live by the sword, you die by the sword. They had some amazing play calls. Can't wait to see Ben Johnson as a head coach. Mm-hmm. Even though I don't think he'll have as much talent as he does in Detroit. But Jared Goff, his flaws showed up again. He's normally an effective and efficient player, but he does lose his mind sometimes. He had the 5 interception game last time, and then this was the game breaker. Washington up 17-14 in the second, and just sails a throw for the pick 6. Just complete shame.
He gets completely put on his butt.
It should have been a penalty because it's helmet to helmet, but they didn't call it, and it's not reviewable. What killed me, let's see here. Brady brought this up too. Pause it right there. Right there. You look here in that bottom left corner, and you have Laporta wide open, 6-7 yard gain. It's 2nd and 14. You take the 6 or 7. It's 3rd and 5, and you're fine. But he got greedy, and he does. When he misses, he typically sails it. And that one, he sailed it for the pick 6. And from there, it was church. They were never able to really get back in the game. Some brutal turnovers from Goff. He had 2.
Yeah, the pick right before half, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then
that hurt.
They drive back down. Yeah, they drive back down. You can make it 24-21 right before half. And that one he underthrew. The guy had cut the angle on the post route, and that was a killer. Just too many killer interceptions for Jared Goff.
Rough. Yeah, and I will say this though, you got to give it to the Commanders. I mean, I think Kingsbury makes a big difference as their offensive coordinator.
Oh yeah,
and Daniels he's not afraid of anything. He's not afraid of the moment. He's
so calm.
Man. Yeah, he's cooking. He looks so good.
Chill.
I'm I'm surprised. I'm surprised they gave up so many yards, though. I mean, they gave up 500 plus yards to the Lions.
Well, the Lions have a great offense.
Yeah.
You know, they were the number one offense in the NFL, number one scoring offense, great run game, great pass game.
You would think with Dan Quinn it may be a little better, but yeah,
I was actually stunned he got the job in the first place with how bad the Cowboys were at the end of last season. Going back to Kingsbury and Daniels, you know, it's kind of a college offense almost, and that's not a detriment.
Oh, no.
That's a compliment of you have this resource. Let's use the guys to their strength.
Yeah.
And one of the things I do want to talk about here in a minute, the traditional quarterback is out of the playoffs. But let me show you, Brady brought this up too, this triple option play. So you get the snap, you can hand it off, you know, and then if the end dives in, then he takes it. But then look out in the flat, you also have the tight end. So if the guy comes off the tight end,
It's an RPO.
it's an RPO with a pass option. Auburn ran this. This is one of my favorite plays. Auburn ran this when they made the national championship game and lost against
Oregon.
Man, who did they lose to? Florida State? Did they lose to Florida State that year?
Florida State.
Yeah, they ran that play all the time. It was an RPO, and they'd have a receiver out there waiting. Guy comes in, the corner comes in, try to tackle the quarterback, just a little pop pass out there. No big deal. It's a simple play call by making the defenders make decisions. And that's all you're trying to do is make defenders make decisions. And based on the decisions they make, it's church. It's golden.
I mean, that's why Army had such a great season.
Triple option. Same premise. Same idea. So props to Kingsbury. He should stay offensive coordinator. I don't think he's a great head coach.
I don't either. I think you look at his, I mean, he's the reason Manziel won the Heisman.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a crazy resume of quarterbacks. Manziel, you had Baker and Patrick Mahomes at Tech. They brought him to the Cardinals because Kyler Murray, essentially. Mm-hmm. And then now Jaden Daniels and even Caleb Williams last year at USC. They had him as like a consultant on the offense. So, dude's cooking. He's definitely making his paycheck worth it.
He's like Pete Davidson dating all the hot girls.
100%.
That guy always gets all the quarterbacks.
Yeah. He's on a tear.
Golly. Do you think this is the starting to close the Lions window? You know, they were rising up. Last year, they had the big lead that they blew to the 49ers. This year, the defensive injuries really got them. Without Hutchinson, they were not able to really pressure Daniels at all, and he cooked them out.
The only thing that here would be my critique, and easy for me to do from the outside, but the Dan Campbell, he's got to lose some of the emotion. Like, emotion's great. It drives you to a point, but, you know, Belichick doesn't show emotion after a loss. It's like, hey, man, we got to toke it up and move on. I think they'll still be good next year, but it may look exactly the same.
They got to quit rubbing it in so much on teams because I think they've had some injuries, murdering teams when they really could have done otherwise. To kind of show you real quick what I'm talking about, college offense. Can you see that? Let me zoom in a little bit. This was his pass chart for Jaden Daniels, and you look at all those on the line of scrimmage to the right side.
Wow.
That's the RPO with the little pass option.
Those are completions too, right?
So red these are all incomplete. Excuse me. Sorry, what am I talking about? No. Red's interceptions. He had no interceptions. Mm-hmm. Blue is touchdowns. White is incomplete. Green is complete.
Got it. So
he threw 5 incompletions?
Man.
6. Just cooking.
A lot of short throws. Yeah. And a couple deep balls. I mean, that's a healthy offense. You don't have to take 15 shots a game. Take 2 or 3.
And you're playing to the strengths of your quarterback, which is what they're doing so well. For the Lions, we'll see who's coming back for the coordinators. And then for the Commanders to rebuild so quickly is just impressive. They were a joke last year.
Yeah.
And typically they went against the grain going with an older coach who's already had his opportunity. He had it in Atlanta. And then as soon as he lost Kyle Shanahan in Atlanta, it all went downhill. They lose the Super Bowl. Then Shanahan gets hired at the 49ers. It all goes downhill. He gets fired. You kind of don't think he's going to get another shot, to be honest. He did good things with the Cowboys defense, but they kind of showed some really bad weaknesses against the run last year. against good teams. And so when I was very surprised that they hired him, especially when they get a new quarterback. The way the modern NFL has gone is you get a new coach and a new quarterback. They grow together. The coach is typically an offensive coach, and you go from there. But they went against the grain. They hired Dan Quinn. They brought in a bunch of old Cowboys who were kind of free agents, kind of fringe roster players who knew Dan Quinn's system. They bring in veteran running back in Austin Eckler to help with the passing game and with run blocking. Brian Robinson was the lead back, but they kind of split that backfield.
Yeah.
Obviously drafted Daniels, and then they took advantage of that last place schedule. That can't be understated. Like, you have an easy schedule, but you got to win the games in front of you, and they did. And here they are, one win away from going to the Super Bowl.
It's crazy.
Very impressive work.
McLaurin as well. He's cooking.
He finally has a quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, it's that easy. But yeah, no, it's been great. It's awesome to see. I mean, it sucks for, it's not the Cowboys, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, it's the Cowboys' offensive coordinator from last year, defensive coordinator from last year versus their offensive coordinator from, for a long time. And that's Kellen Moore with the Eagles and the Rams. How would you think of this game? I thought it was really fun to watch a snow game.
It was great. I was thinking, my thought process was, if you're Philly, this year works because they're predominantly a running offense.
Oh yeah,
but it almost could hurt you in some seasons just with all the snow and crap. If you get home field advantage and you're a pass heavier offense, it's like, man, we should have built a dome. But yeah, watching the game as it was, obviously, I love Barkley. He's my favorite. He's going to be my keeper for next year. And
probably smart in fantasy world, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. He cooked. They looked great. They were the more talented team.
Rams kept it close.
Rams couldn't stop the run in the first. Still kept it close. I was pulling for the Rams at the end, I'll be honest. But I think they went for the pass interference call on that last play. I don't know what was going on there. But, cool to see the Eagles win. I'd love to see the Rams pull it out, but it is what it is.
Stafford had a great game.
Yeah.
234 and 2 touchdowns. It took him a minute to get going.
Especially with the conditions.
I was very surprised. I talked about last week, we talked about how this would be a running back game, and it really was the difference. Kyron Williams had the fumble lost, which led to the Eagles' touchdown. And then, man, Saquon, I don't know if there's going to be like a play from this offseason, but if there is, it's probably this one here in the snow, wide open after the fumble, I believe. In the snow and just housing it.
That was the dagger.
That was the dagger. The Rams kind of tried to come back. He had barely been in the play. He was at the Giants in that franchise for so long, and
I think they had one game or something like that.
And to take it and then just turn the Jets on. Whole career of anger coming out.
Yeah, look at that, just slapping himself on the head.
And the Eagles
runs. One in the first quarter too, right? The first play of the game, or the first score of the game.
Yes, sir. That was the one. This is the one I remember as far as I think the play. That was outside of the snow. Anyone can do that.
Yeah. That was the dagger moment.
It was crazy to me though how much one player has made such a difference, and credit to Kellen Moore as well. The Eagles tanked last year at the end. They lose Jason Kelce. I didn't think they would be this good.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people had their doubts about Jalen Hurts. And once again, a good offensive coordinator playing to the strengths of his team.
Right.
He's got a workhorse running back. Feed him the rock. Feed him the rock.
Sirianni was taking a lot of heat too. They were talking at the beginning of the year, this might be it. He could be fired halfway through the season. So I think he took a step back on offense, which is probably smart. Shows a lot of maturity from him. And, now you got A.J. Brown reading on the sideline, making all the difference in the world, man. They're an extremely talented team.
Oh, yeah.
Monte Smith. So.
Oh, yeah. And this is what's interesting, too, is Jalen Hurts, 128 yards passing, 70 yards rushing. Josh Allen, 127 yards passing, 20 yards rushing. The defenses have changed. The running back position has changed. This is another thing. The Cowboys are always 2 years behind. Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley go to new teams, 2,000-yard seasons each.
Man.
And it kind of changed because of Mahomes and Andy Reid and Cheetah and Tyreek. A lot more teams, two deep safety. The positions like linebacker got smaller and faster. Defensive lineman got a little smaller and faster. And now you're like, okay, let's pound the rock, baby. Pound the rock. Again. Yeah, so now that's going to change now in the next 5 years. The positions are going to get bigger, and then they're going to throw the ball again. So it's just a game of give and take as to what offense is better. But the running back position, you got two teams there with great running backs.
There was a tweet by Bijan Robinson to Barkley, like, man, you're making this position look really good now. So
he's going to be up for a contract soon.
Excited about the future. So yeah, smart on his part. He's like, hey, because he's that talented as well. I mean, he's incredible.
He really is. I love Bijan. Bijan. To infinity and Bijan.
So who we got lined up in the champs? Who's it coming down to?
Eagles, Commanders in my vomit bowl. Woo. And Chiefs versus the Bills in the AFC. So which one do you want to take first?
Let's go Chiefs, Bills. Let's get it out of the way.
It's going to be a big one. I assume that's going to be the primetime game.
I feel like, I don't know, man. I want it to be the time Josh Allen gets over the hump.
Yeah.
I think it will be. I think they'll win this year. I think the Chiefs are going to run out of gas.
It's a lot of football they've played the last 10 years, 7 years.
They've been on ice all season. Yeah, they looked great this week. They were refreshed, but I think the Bills are the better team. I think the Bills' defense is going to be the difference maker. They're going to shut down Patty Holmes. And then if Josh Allen can honestly just do what they did last night, I think they'll be fine.
See, I think it's going to take a Superman type performance from Josh Allen.
Okay.
Last time they played,
shootout?
Not necessarily a shootout, but I'm saying if Buffalo's going to win, like they beat him earlier this year, 30-21. That was in Buffalo, but Josh Allen took it upon himself. 262 passing and a touchdown, 12 rushing attempts, 55 yards and a touchdown. He did it all. It was all on his shoulders. He did it all. Mahomes had 3 touchdowns and 2 picks. They were behind most of the game, so it was kind of a
3 picks?
3 touchdown, 2 picks.
2 picks. Gotcha.
So they were behind most of the game. It was actually kind of back and forth. Yeah, starting in the fourth quarter, really it got out of hand for the Chiefs. But yeah, I just think this is the defining moment of his career for Josh Allen. So I hope he is able to step it up, come through, like we said, with the Heartbreak Bowl. I love both Josh Allen and Lamar. I would love either one of them to win a Super Bowl. Regardless, I will be cheering for the winner of this game.
Ooh.
I cannot cheer for the Eagles. I refuse. And I cannot cheer for Washington. I refuse.
It is hard to see the NFC East rivals going at it. And I did not think it was going to be those two teams. But I have a soft spot now. I'm going for the Commanders. I got to root for Kingsbury.
Yeah. So, if I have to choose, I will choose the Commies.
If whatever that game's going to be like, I think it'll be similar to the Lions game, where it's probably going to be high scoring. They're going to have to outscore the Eagles.
All right.
But I don't know. I don't have a lot of insight on that one.
It's they played twice this year. So back in November, the first time they played, Eagles 26-18. Daniels only threw for 191. The Eagles' defense has been fantastic. Saquon had 146 rushing. He had 3 total touchdowns.
Solid
I said that wrong. Two touchdowns. Jalen Hurts robbed him the third one from the 1 yard line. And in the fourth quarter, they pulled away. It was 10-6 Washington heading into the fourth. Hurts, Barkley makes it 26-10. And then Washington scores a late touchdown. But a close game that the Eagles pull away in the end. The other game was the one that Jalen Hurts got knocked out of real early. And even though they were even though they were without their quarterback, the Eagles still put up 33. So that's kind of one where I'm like,
Yeah.
Going into the fourth quarter, it was Philadelphia was up 27-14. And then they end up, scoring that late one to make it 36. They got a 9-yard touchdown pass, Daniels to Crowder to make it 36-33. Daniels had 5 touchdown passes that game and 81 yards rushing. But I think it's going to be a much different game with Hurts in there the whole time. He's obviously better than Kenny Pickett. So I think the Eagles are going to win, but I am cheering for Washington.
Is it in Philly?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the other part. If it's another Snow Bowl, which it most likely will be, that's going to be harder for the Commanders to move the ball.
What is Philadelphia weather like?
Or it could be super easy. Jaden Daniels, well, we'll see what he can do in the snow.
Yeah, Monday is only a 10% chance right now of precip, as they say, on Sunday. So we'll see how that weather looks as we get closer. Kansas City, I wonder what Kansas City weather will be like.
Kansas City's going to be cold as well.
Oh, yeah, it'll be freezing.
Sunday,
36? Actually, not bad. 36 and sunny.
That's not bad. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit below freezing.
Yeah.
2 outdoor games, which is great.
It may come down to the weather for the Commanders, honestly. Yeah. They'll play a big part of it.
So I go Bills, Eagles, and you're going...
I'm going to say Chiefs win, and I'm going to say Eagles win. Chiefs, Eagles. So that's what I think is going to happen. I would like to see it the opposite. If it's Bills, Commanders, I think that'd be a pretty fun game, and 2 teams that hadn't been in the Super Bowl in a long time.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. That'd be my preference.
Yeah.
Say a little prayer.
Say a little prayer for you.
Segue. You've been following Tomorrow Golf League, the TGL?
Yeah, I watched bits and pieces of Tiger's first round, and I've seen the clips and whatnot. It looks like a lot of fun. I'd love to play it.
Yeah. I was going to say, as someone who's got a similar setup in my garage here, no, but for those who don't know, this is an indoor, somewhat simulated golf league, but it has its own green that adjusts. So let me show you some screen pics and then a little video of Tiger shanking one. So what's cool about it is they hit into this giant screen. Let's see here. Yeah, let's play this one here. So here's Tiger Woods. And this is actually Charlie laughing at him. So you have this monster screen.
Yeah.
You hit it into there, Tiger. Shows the screen on there. Now, of course, this one he shanks over the top, hits the water. And then kind of looking down, same hat. Me and Tiger the same. And Charlie laughing like, "What are you doing, old man?" I love that. What's great about it is you get the banter, you get them talking back and forth.
Yeah, I think it's a fun idea. Like, I'm glad they're trying stuff in golf.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, let's. Yeah, it's kind of like Capital won the match when they got them mic'd up. You get to hear the players messing around, and then the commentators, they kind of decide who they're going to talk to. Like, hey, let's tune into Tiger. Tiger, what'd you think about that?
It's like, we're playing like garbage.
Or who was it? Who was it who shanked out of the sand trap?
Oh, I don't remember, but yeah, I don't have that clip. But that was hilarious.
That was a belly laugh from Tiger that, like, you would never hear that, in competition or in real life. It's like, kind of lets you see the personal side of some of these guys.
Yeah, you want to hear this one right here? Check this out.
Still getting killed. Charlie, you want to come play? Come sub in, man. Bring in the righty.
So the Tigers team lost like 10-1.
Oh yeah,
but it was hilarious. They got whooped, but it was hilarious because they're like, "Hey, Charlie, you wanna sub in there, buddy?"
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, what's cool about it is there's several things that are cool about it. So like number one, you get to kind of have here's how it looks. You get the match. They pick the different courses. Mm-hmm. And like this one here is a temple shape.
Yeah.
So you get to do things on the course like this here. Share this tab instead. Like look at this hole. So you got to do one of three things. So you have to have some strategy as to where to hit it.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to do some cool things. Like there's no way you have an island golf hole in real golf.
Yeah.
And so you get to do some cool things and make them have some skill shots that they wouldn't necessarily have in natural, in a natural golf course. And then, of course, they have the really cool green, which my wife was really into this, but it's got those three like hydraulic system to adjust the green slope, position, and all that.
That's the coolest thing in the world. And they, some of the golfers, it sounds like they have those like installed at their house.
Well, dadgum, I need one.
Yeah, you get you one in your backyard.
I got the hat. What else do I need?
Yeah. Yeah, but that would be dope. You had to be able to type in essentially any green in the world, and it can kind of move itself into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's fun that they got the live crowd. The commentating's fun, and it's just, I think it's cool that they're trying stuff, man. They're like, hey, let's make golf fun again.
Yeah. Shout out 45.
Yeah.
I like how different it is too. Like they kind of set this up as something to complement the PGA.
Yeah.
Unlike, Live, which is a direct competitor. So you're able to get the best golfers. It's a team event. It's match play, not stroke play.
Right.
You get the banter. You get all the fun things that you like about golf with your friends.
Yeah.
So I like it a lot.
Heck
Thumbs
yeah.
up. Tomorrow Golf League.
TGU. What else we got on the docket?
Well, Casey's Corner, a little NBA action.
I didn't prepare a whole lot. I'll give you a little. The thing I'm ready to see first and foremost is I would like to see Luka back.
Golly, it's killing me.
I'm afraid of the Mavs slipping too far. Right now, they're at the 7 seed.
3-7 in their last 10.
If they can stay there. Looking at the West, it's the same song and dance. Essentially, you got 12 teams, which are going to end up competing for the playoffs. I think OKC is probably the best team in the league, if not Cleveland.
Yep.
Houston has, talk about rebuilding. Houston rebuilt incredibly quickly the last couple of years. Ime Udoka coming from the Celtics, I think he's a big difference maker in terms of the energy of the team. And then you got Ja Morant and the Grizzlies. They're cooking again. They're back. West is competitive and somewhat top heavy. And then the East is the same. You got Cleveland and Boston, and then kind of everyone else.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, which teams rise up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a believer in the Lakers this year. I'm not. The Nuggets look interesting.
I think they'll sneak in.
Oh yeah, they'll make the playoffs.
Yeah. Probably lose the second round.
Minnesota trading Cat looks like a horrible idea right now.
Mm-hmm.
They've dropped down to the 8 seed.
Yeah.
The Suns, they're supposedly a super team, yet they're just over 500.
Yeah, they can't figure that deal out, and no one's going to take Bradley Beal, and he's got a no trade clause, so they're stuck.
I told you I hated that deal. I thought it was the worst deal they ever made. Worst deal in the history of deals.
It was extremely risky for Phoenix. And
that's what happens when you get a new owner who wants to win now, win a championship now. Yeah. But like the guy's barely play. He's injured 30 games a year. He doesn't play. He's not. I don't blame him for taking max money. Like if they offer it to you, you take it.
Right.
But it's just a silly decision by the Suns, and they're stuck now with that roster, and it's just not great. It's not balanced. It doesn't work.
To your point about Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of tough. I think that, trading Cat, I guess they just didn't want the money, right? Paying him for the next 4 years. But you essentially change your whole team doing that. Mm-hmm. Now you have Randall, who's more of a, he needs the ball to score. You got DiVincenzo, he's having a great year again, like he did for the Knicks last year. But you essentially kind of change your offense, and especially in crunch time. Now you have 2 ball handlers as opposed to Ant being the only guy that's going to have the ball and he can spray it around to 4 different guys. I think they'll still get into the playoffs and Ant can make something happen. But the shocker for me has been the Clippers. I think that they were smarter than people expected, letting Paul George walk.
Yeah.
Keeping Harden. Even though I hate Harden, he's one of the dribble bros. It's like, man, you look at his consistency in terms of essentially every team that he's on is in the top 4, top 5
every year.
They're going to make the playoffs. Like they're going to be, tier 1.5 in the league. I think he's just, I don't know what it is about him, but his teams are always doing well, even though no one likes him now. So,
I mean, it works.
Clippers, they hang on to him. Even with Kawhi being out most this year, Harden's kind of kept him in it. And now that Kawhi's back, like last night, they beat the Lakers pretty easily.
His minutes, he's playing 33 a night. So it's a lot, but not as much as Luka and Kyrie for the Mavs. So, I mean, I do question whether it can last all season. He's had some injury issues in the past. It doesn't seem to always translate necessarily to playoff basketball. But, man, we'll see. They do spread the minutes out a little bit better. Kawhi is only playing 24. Derek Jones, who I loved, playing 25 last game.
That was a great steal.
I know. A weird one. But I wonder, if more teams are going to go kind of like with the pacer approach of, everyone's playing 20 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 guys are playing 20 minutes. A nice big rotation. And everyone's, just kind of rotate that way. When you get to the playoffs, you're fresh. The anti-Knicks, the Knicks are great in the regular season, but all the minutes, man. The minutes. But
yeah, right here, once the NFL playoffs are over, Super Bowl's done, All-Star game, and second half of the season starts, I'll be dialed in.
I mean, do you think, I really think they should change the season. I think they should start it on Christmas Day.
It's not a bad idea.
Or start it here, MLK Day. Like, the NFL just takes too much of the rating share.
Yeah.
Your faithful basketball player, your faithful basketball guys, they're going to watch regardless.
Right.
But then me, like, if I have to choose between an NFL game and an NBA game, I'm watching the NFL every time.
Yeah. Well, I'm enough to where, like, I have NBA League Pass, and during the regular season for NFL, I'll watch a Atlanta Hawks versus the Wizards game over an NFL game. That's just kind of how I am. But once the NFL playoffs start, NBA falls off my radar entirely. It's like I'm dialed into the playoffs for the next 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever it is. Yeah, so it becomes kind of like a dead time for the NBA.
Yeah,
and they got their butt kicked on Christmas.
Oh gosh, that was brutal.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what are you going to watch?
Yeah.
If you got the choice, and everyone's got all the streaming services, what are you going to watch? You're going to watch football. That's the main draw in this country. And it always will. Well, not all. I mean, you never know, and it will be for the next while.
It just doesn't pick back up until the NBA playoffs start. So,
no.
Yes, sir. But that's it. What else you got, brother?
So what is there was like this thing I saw, a commercial about quitting day.
Quitting day?
So quitting day is when you quit on your New Year's resolution.
Oh, there's a commercial where the guy's like, the second Friday of January is called Quitter's Day.
So I just want to check in on you. I've read 1.5 books so far.
You've read 1.5 books? I'm still on my first one. I got 1984. I've started reading.
Nice.
So, and then I played golf. I haven't hit a birdie yet. So
I might play here in a minute in the garage. It's I wanted to play today, but it's below freezing.
All the courses are closed.
All the courses are closed. The greens are covered.
I'm actually going to this place. That's why I moved this up a little bit. We're going to a place called Rock Golf. You ever heard of it?
Yeah. It's like Top Golf. Similar, right?
Well, it's inside. It's kind of like
it's TGL.
Yeah, it's TGL. So I've never been there. They don't have the green that moves, but you do hit into a screen and whatnot. So yeah, there's 3 or 4 of us. We're going to play today, but we're going to go play over there for an hour and a half. So hit into a screen a little bit. So yeah, you should do the same.
Yeah. Count your birdies on that. They count.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
All right.
Happy Inauguration Day.
And MLK Day. 45-47.
Toodaloo.